Hey Rovers, that was a terrific response you gave me in the last video where I asked you what kind of outboard should I get, the Yamaha 2.5 or the Honda 2.3? Well, overwhelmingly you chose Yamaha. And then just to show you that I do in fact listen, because there is a huge amount of knowledge out there in Rover Nation. Many of you suggested that why don't you consider a higher horsepower so that you can extend your capabilities, you know, to be able to fight a tide, current, or wind, be able to go up into inlets, so on. And so I looked into the Yamaha 4-horse. Now, weight has always been an issue. I didn't want anything that was too heavy. So to go from the 2.5, which is about 37 pounds, up to the 4-horse, the Yamaha 4-horse, that bumps it up to 60 pounds. So it's a 23-pound difference, which in Prince Edward Island here, that's a bag of spuds. So, you know, it's adding, you know, I don't want to keep adding stuff on, but 23 pounds for all that extra capability, that's pretty good. But then, this is the kicker. When I looked into the 4-horse, the difference between the 4-horse and the 6-horse, well, all they do is they just make the cylinder bigger. They don't actually add any more weight. So the 6-horse is the same weight as the 4-horse. So for the same weight, which was always my worry, I get 6-horse now. The only bad thing is that 6-horse comes in at $2,100, which is a little more than double what I was planning to spend on the Yamaha 2.5. So the Rover coins, I think we've got 58 left. I'm encouraging you to, if you're in the, you know, if you're able to, buy one of those Rover coins, because that money is going to offset the increase in cost of that engine. Plus, it's a great little memento of the building of Wave Rover and, of course, you know, her upcoming circumnavigation. Anyway, a lot has happened in the last 6 days. Now, I'm going to take you back in time to 6 days ago, just as we pull the boat out of the shop, and you can see what's happened. Hey Rovers, big day today. Wave Rover's coming out of the shop.
The Wave Rover 650, a design based on my single-handed ocean voyages. She's small, light, but easy to build, and strong enough to cross any ocean.
My name's Alan Mulholland, and this is the Wave Rover story. We're on a real time crunch here, so haven't had a lot of time to think about how we're going to shift Wave Rover out of the shop, but with a little bit of luck, this simple raft will work, and then we've got some big plans for the rest of the video. Yeah, she's good. Well, this is the first time we get to see Wave Rover in her entirety. Wow. Very simple raft.
And behind the wheel of the truck, we had the professor.
Simple is always better.
And he didn't come empty-handed. He has something in the back of the truck. Traveled all the way down the highway, about 3 hours worth, with this monstrosity sticking up.
I didn't meet any curious policemen.
Thankfully, the police didn't get a view of this, and I think it might have had something to do with the serious fog we had this morning.
That was a good thing.
Stealthy. No sooner do we get the boat outside, and the push pit starts going in, and this is fine adjustment right here. My neighbor Nelson has stopped his farming just to come over and help. And how did we pull it? We pulled it with the old Tacoma. How many miles on the Tacoma, Brian?
562,000.
562,000 miles on this Tacoma. Now it's probably 562,000 and a tenth. There's a lot happening with this push pit. There's going to be 2 seats on it. The Mark III will be attached. There will be a mount for the outboard, and of course the solar panels, the GPS antenna, and the VHF antenna. Brian is using my favorite hammer as the fine adjustment tool.
See, we need to pull this down to weld it so I get it at the right angle. But we'll figure that out. This one here is pretty close. So can we get a nut on it at all?
We can get
Even
longer
a thread
bolts.
or two?
We'll get longer bolts.
Okay.
Okay. Camera's being shut down. Quite a view. I can just make out, let's see, the Atlantic Ocean, and I think in the distance that might be the Azores, or it might be Ireland. It's hard to say.
One more. It's all about trying to get comfortable. Worked out better than I thought. And we have to try the, can you hold your beer verage?
Yeah. So is it possible to have a beer and sit there and hang on?
I think so, because now you can grab here and drink.
There we go. Design complete. So comparing this to Contessa, what do you think, Brian?
Well, as you know, I am now the current owner of Wave Rover 1, and I can tell you that this boat, even though it's shorter, the volume is huge. And I like the difference in the angle of the companionway hatch. I just got in and out, and it's much easier.
Yeah, I a lot of thought went into that, actually.
Yeah, it's
more
much
than
easier.
I think people appreciate
You know
it.
what you could do? You could put a hammock between here
Yeah.
and sleep out here at night.
Yeah, well, there's an idea. Yeah.
I know you're going to do that.
Well, now that you mentioned it.
No, I really like this boat, and I've been on a lot of boats.
Yeah, I don't think the audience knows that. Brian actually owned a yacht building business for, I think, 20 years.
It's Yachtsmiths International, so that's YACHTSMITHS International, and you can see videos of me being much younger and when I used to build luxury yachts.
And that was after our time in the Navy. Brian and I were actually young naval officers at the same time in the Canadian Navy. That's how we know each other.
Wild oats around the world.
Well, I don't know. That's still classified.
That's all classified information. You can't put that on YouTube.
No. Oh, great.
Yeah, it's awesome. I really like it.
So I'm just going to pull back right now. Maybe just stand in the cockpit area so we can get a feeling for scale. Bearing in mind, Brian is actually 6'6".
No, I'm not. No, but this is the first time we've been able to see this outside, and first time with the railings on. And I've got probably almost as much time at sea as Alan, and I can tell you this feels good. Really good.
Yeah, actually, to scale, you look pretty. I mean, including the massive welder's hat, which Brian usually wears all the time.
No, it looks really good. I'm really, really happy. It's not even mine.
Yeah. And this morning I put the water line indicator on just so you can see it. It's that red dotted line. So that line is all above the chine. So you're not even going to see the chine when she's in the water.
It feels very safe up there too. That's the other thing.
So the big thing that'll have to happen in the next few weeks, she'll have to get her keels on and the skeg and rudder assembly. But that's not today's job.
Means it's going to be 4 feet up in the air.
Now that the stern pulpit has been tacked up on one of the very few windlass days, and windlass is important because Brian is TIG welding, and now he's doing the proper finish welds inside my spacious workshop. Just imagine the work I'll be able to get done once we get this stern pulpit out of here. All right, so it's 4 o'clock. Brian Smythe, the professor, arrived this morning at, you got here about 8:45?
No, about 8:15.
About 8:15, that's right. I was still working on the boat, getting stuff prepped. And in that time, we hauled the boat out. And let's see, what else did we do? You brought the tacked up Pushpit and Pulpit.
Yeah.
And then we custom fit it in place, checked everything. Then you did the finish welds.
We tacked up all the feet first.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after that?
And we took it off, brought it into the garage so the mosquitoes could eat me.
Yeah.
And then I welded them all up, and then we buffed them, and we just finished putting the Pushpit on.
Now for those who aren't expert welders, you TIG these. What does TIG mean?
TIG stands for tungsten inert gas, and the end of the torch is a small tungsten, very fine pinpoint, and you strike the arc and you melt the puddle, and then you have a stainless steel filler rod which you dip into the puddle as you go along. It's kind of an art. I had never done it before I started making these.
Yeah, so this not only is Wave Rover 2 a prototype, but it's also a learning center for for welders. So why TIG and why not MIG that you're used to?
Oh, you couldn't make this. Well, I mean you could, but it would look really ugly. The bead is too big.
Yeah.
Right, so this is only 1-inch tubing. You want to do a nice fine bead around it.
Yeah. Right. Now it's 4 o'clock, like I said. Your wife wants you to cut the grass and get going. So, thank you.
My father-in-law is cooking lobster.
Oh, that's the reason. Well, if that was the case, listen, we can get lobster here, and if you want to stay a bit longer.
But you're Western lobster.
Yeah.
We're Eastern lobster.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yikes. All right. Thank you so much, my friend.
Okay. See you soon.
So we've got the pulpit, and it's raining outside, and we want to mount this on because all these holes here, they represent holes in the boat, and we don't like that. So an easy way to do this is with butyl tape, and the beauty of the butyl tape is we can just put it on like that, and then just cut it. And then peel it back. And it's ready to go, just like that. This is almost an 1/8 thick. By the time we bolt it down, that'll squeeze out all around.
There we go. We do that to all four, and then we place it on the boat. My buddy Nelson has dropped by, and he's stopped his farming operation to give us a hand. You see, we have to move the boat because the keels that I manufactured last summer with the professor's help, they'll be arriving on a trailer in the next couple of weeks, and that trailer needs to be able to back underneath Wave Rover in order to install them. So we need to move Wave Rover about 100 feet onto the grass. So it's about 7:30 in the evening, and we are just working on the skag, wetting it out, and then we're going to work on the trim tab, and then we're going to scarf what I hope is the last scarf joint. It's a spare batten for the junk sail. So this is what I hope is the last scarf joint. So I've already cut it and got our lines set up. Okay, so that'll work. Now we put some clamps on this. That's not going to work because it's going to be filming my arm. Oh. So, in fact, let's change positions. Okay. Just move a little bit closer. There we go. There we go, we've got the nice squeeze out all the way. And it doesn't need a lot of pressure because epoxy is a gap filling glue. So that's nice. We just leave that to set up overnight. So this is a spare batten that I'll carry with me just in case we break one. Oh, what's this?
Well, Rovers, a lot is happening every day here. Things are moving forward at a pretty fast clip. We are well on schedule to launch on July 29th. Mark that in your calendars. I'm going to see if we can do a live feed during the launch or something like that. It's well above my pay grade, but I'll see if I can get someone to help me out on that one. Now, if you have the opportunity or if you have the means, please consider buying a Rover coin to offset the cost of the outboard. And as always, Rovers, thanks for watching and forge your own adventure. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a very special announcement. Rover coin has arrived, and in the ancient tradition of seafarers, this coin, which has an individual serial number, 001, will go under my mast. Now, I had to order 100, of which 85 are available as a fundraiser. Now, I'm not sure what metal they're made out of, but it's not gold, although you might think so. But I have it on good authority from someone in the Summerside Financial District that Rover coin could be a great investment in two ways. One, Wave Rover has a great adventure, and this individually numbered coin grows with the popularity of the Wave Rover 650s. And two, that Wave Rover and her skipper come to an untimely end and Rover coins will skyrocket in value. That's not exactly a win-win for me. However, if you're interested in Rover coin, they are $125. It's a fundraiser to help me fund the upcoming voyage. Or you might be thinking, hey, I want more than one. Can I get a discount? Of course you can. If you buy 3 or more, these will be $100 each. I know it's a lot of money, and don't put yourself out if you're living paycheck to paycheck. It's not important. I love you guys, each and every one of you, whether you buy a coin or not. But this is a fundraiser to help out Wave Rover.
Well, the Wave Rover patrons, with their pledges of support, really do make the creation of these videos possible. Now, if you'd like to know more about Wave Rover's patron page and benefactors bulkhead, I have links to both those pages in the video description. Now, another way to help Wave Rover, and it doesn't cost you a dime, is by sharing our content on your social media. So now, as always, Rovers, thanks for watching. Give us one more. Brilliant.